Sorry for being so late with this video. I spent a lot of time grading your papers, your rough drafts, and grading your first Frederick Douglass paper, giving it an A through an F. You did okay. I expect a lot of improvement from the first paper. It's not weighted very much. It's the first two papers are really kind of practice papers. So if you didn't get the grade that you think you should be getting in this class, I wouldn't really worry about it, because we are still learning what is necessary to write a college paper. And in looking at your papers, many of us still are not applying the MLA format rules or guidelines. We're falling down in some areas. Especially some of us are not double spacing top to bottom of the page. We can't have extra spaces on the page, stuff like that. I know it sounds petty, doesn't it? But it's very important to get all of these small things correct. Now you are revising your Malcolm X film review. Also, let me, related to the Malcolm X film review and the Frederick Douglass paper and titles in general, titles are very important for papers. The title should reflect what you are writing. The title should not be the title of the film or the article or the book that we're writing about. The title should not be the assignment, like film review is not a title, or Malcolm X is not a title, okay? These are all small things that I'm commenting on in your papers. I don't take away very much from your grade, but it's about an accumulation of all of these things. So if there are a lot of these little small errors in a paper, then it accumulates to a point where they are all noticeable. You can get an A on a paper and have mistakes and errors and so forth if there just aren't very many of them. But when there happens to be a lot of them, then it kind of like pulls down a paper. So we clear these up, and for some of us, our grade will improve. Of course, it's about the content also, and some of us in our papers are not following the scaffold. The scaffold that I present to you suggests the content for you to write and how to organize it and so forth. And I do give you very detailed scaffolds, so I want you to follow them. And if you don't present the content that I'm asking you to present in a paper, that pulls your paper down, pulls the grade of your paper down a little bit too. So it's very important to follow that scaffold. And because one of the reasons I give such detailed scaffolds is that this is a 5-week course and we have a lot of work to do. We don't have time as teachers and students to flail in the water. You know, I don't throw you into the pool and expect you to swim without any kind of instruction. So with 5 weeks and a lot to learn about how to write a college paper, I have to give you a lot of instruction, a lot of guidelines, a lot of sometimes restrictions, so that you know what a college paper should be like. So this set of assignments expects that you turn in the final draft of your Malcolm X paper. So make sure you are following the scaffold, the Malcolm X film review paper, I should say. Make sure you follow the scaffold and make sure that you don't say Malcolm X film review as your title. You follow the MLA rules. And with a film review, there's something a little bit different. It's my particular kind of assignment. But in the film review, of course, the first paragraph is a summary of the film. And the second paragraph writes about one of the messages the director wants the audience to learn. and determining a message and just writing about that one single message is very important. Many of us start writing about, we mention a message and we mention another message and we mention another message, and that just doesn't work, because I want you to focus on one message and state the message and explain it and give an example from the film for that message, scenes from the film that support that message, and so forth. And then finally, a reaction. We can have all kinds of reactions to a film. We have all kinds of them, and we have many, but I want you to choose one reaction and just write about that one reaction and give some support from the film, that give some illustrations or state some scenes from the film that give you that reaction. You don't have that much to write. It's about 180 words per paragraph, so 180 words about the message and 180 words about a reaction. And it's not very much. You should all be able to write just 180 words about one reaction and about one message. Now, I did, in the set of assignments, I did attach a model paper film review. So look at that. It's a student-written paper. It's not a perfect paper, but it does show you a student writing a message that is one message and how the student explains it, and it shows the student giving a single reaction. So I hope that you have taken a look at that model paper before you finished up your rough draft and turned it in. I know some of you probably already turned in your paper because I'm doing this video kind of late. But if you haven't turned in your paper, make sure before you turn it in that you look at the model paper. Now, I asked, moving on from this paper, you're turn it in, it's going to be graded like your Frederick Douglass paper. And both of them have about the same weight, not too much. We basically have 20 graded assignments in this course. So over 20, the Frederick Douglass paper is worth 5%, and the or 5% of 100, or 1 over 20, and the film review is worth 1 over 20, or that's 5% of your grade. So they're not really so heavily weighted. But still, you want to do well. And we're going to have one more film review after this one. Okay, probably in the last week of the class, so you'll have another opportunity to write another film review as well. Now, with regard to fragments and run-ons, I'm going to be opening a quiz later on tonight, but it won't be due until tomorrow. It's not going to be like the last quiz. It's going to be a multiple choice quiz, probably maybe some true false. I don't know. Maybe there will be one short answer essay. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still working on that quiz, but it'll open up a little bit later so that it will be due with the next set of assignments. And I'll be making another video for the next set of assignments. So happy working tonight. Make sure you get your Malcolm X film review turned in on time. I think I've extended the deadline. I've given you a 7-hour grace period for this paper. So it's not really due until 8 a.m. All right, on the day after this one. Lucky you. Oh yeah, one more thing. It's always Malcolm X. Never say just Malcolm. Never say X. It's always Malcolm X. Now with Frederick Douglass, it's the first mention of an author's name is the full name, Frederick Douglass. The second and every subsequent mention of an author's name is just the last name, except for Malcolm X. It's always Malcolm X. We don't follow that rule with Malcolm X, but we follow all of the other authors. We mention the name one time, the full name one time, and after that, it's just the last name when we're mentioning authors. This is important because as we go through the course, we will be working with a lot of other authors, and you will have to make mention of authors in every paper that you write. Oh, I think I've talked. I wasn't going to talk very long, but it's running almost 10 minutes. I apologize. And my camera's a little bit shaky today. I apologize for that as well. Maybe I've had too much coffee. We'll see you online.